Let's rock and roll.
I finally saw the end of Jojo. Well, I watched the whole thing too because when I get told that it was getting uploaded in parts to Netflix, I went okay cool, and I just didn't watch it, and then I watched it when it was all out.
Whereas I had no such patience and watched 12 episodes and then we're like, and it just sort of stopped.
For the most part, I really liked it. I like Jolene, kind of like way back with Joseph. Like she grew on me. The more it went on, I thought she was cool. Jotaro is still sort of just bland, but like cool bland. Like he's just sort of, I'm Jotaro and I'm cool, and you're like, alright, you know. It's not my favourite Jojo, but I get it. He's pretty cool. And the whole like stealing stand abilities stuff that Pale Snake does is really cool ability. And there's a little bit of the mystery of a little bit of the mystery of fear. So you know, in terms of like all the censorship and stuff like, not censorship, they have to change a bunch of names for like stands and stuff like that and characters. Are you in on that?
I wasn't entirely in on that. But
oh right, so the thing is they're almost all like parody names. Yeah, mostly of music. So like Pale Snake is actually White Snake. Right, but the thing is, so in Japan it's a lot easier to get away with that. But when they westernise it, they don't want to get sued.
Oh, so it has to be Pale Snake instead.
I didn't know that. Jumpin' Jack Spark it's supposed to be Jumpin' Jack Flash. It's an old Rolling Stones song.
Oh, okay.
So that's one of the like more kind of painful ones. Maiden Heaven. I don't know if that is Maiden Heaven just a song. I don't know. I can't remember all of them. But you know, like Weather Station. It was I can't remember.
Weather.
Is it Weather Station?
No, it's not Weather Station.
Isn't it?
I don't know. Can't mind now. See, the problem is it's been so long since I've.
Oh yeah, this is what I'm sorry. I should have been more.
No, I remember most of it. The thing about him as well, it was a bit of a left field. Him turning out to be like Pale Snake's brother. He's actually this really OP stand user.
Yeah, it was kind of cool, but it was also. But that's the bizarreness of Jojo. So I was like, why has he got a Joestar birthmark now? I still don't really get what happened with the weird green baby thing. I was like, is this Dio getting like resurrected? But then Pucci sort of just like absorbs him into himself and gets like a new stand or so. It made no sense, but it was cool. I think I'm meant to jump across these up here.
Well, you're meant to. You come here, and I've pushed that in place, and you can make the double jump up here. I really like it while it's in the prison.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
I don't mind that it's like an all-female cast, really.
No, because again, it makes sense in the setting, and
but actually I quite like Jolene is basically just Jotaro, right down to the good griefs. You know, she's well, you know, so calm, cool, and collected, and then you know, when she's delivering the smackdown, she's, you know, basically doing the same move as Star Platinum.
But I actually, honestly, I probably prefer Stone Ocean, but as a stand, just because it's kind of cool. It's got like
the threads,
the extra stuff. Like I like the creative ones. Star Platinum is, like I said earlier, just kind of cool, like just dead strong and.
No, you got to smash it and I'll activate it. Yeah, I smashed that ladder thing over there.
Oh, I see. Women don't know how to like fix stuff, I guess. Yeah.
Well, it's electricity it needs.
Oh, and then he shocks it with that. I get you. What was I saying? I was too busy being sexist.
So as we were talking about, first of all, when they start in the prison with Jolene.
Oh, I just splashed myself in the eye with some coffee. Ow. Yeah, in the prison
and then moving like kind of on through the story, it's when they kind of leave the prison
and they go to like Cape Canaveral.
Yeah, and go to Cape Canaveral. I felt it lost its way a wee bit, but it was still good. I'm not dissing it for a second.
Yeah, but like the setting, the prison, a lot of good settings. People say they kind of become a character in themselves.
Yeah,
and I agree. The prison was kind of getting to that point.
Especially like
it was cool.
Even right up to mid-season, because thanks, take out the bridge for me. Because there was the big fight in the prison. There was, when they're stuck in the prison, when there was that lady, it was like Memento. She can only remember like 3 things.
Yeah.
I thought that was amazing. I
think stuff like that's so cool, but it's one of the few things like in stories that actually creeps me out. Like thinking about that, it's one of the few things that kind of I'm like, oh god, that would just be so terrible. I'd hate that so much. Just kill me at that point, honestly. Like if you can't form new. Yeah, it's horrible. But yeah, it was really cool.
It's a complete Memento rip-off, but have you ever seen Memento?
I thought it was really good.
It was really good, but it's basically just a rip-off of that.
Yeah, because you can only remember, however, like you can only have
like a
short-term
I'm sure
memory.
It's not quite 3 things, but you can't form new memories.
Yeah, it's not like a set amount of time, but he can't form any new long-term memories. So it's however long, 30 seconds, something like that.
I think I broke the bridge. It fought.
I think I can. See, to be honest, right, I'll just respawn if I fall anyway. It's Lego Batman.
See, I'd not seen Golden Wind. I think you can jump it, but I can't.
It doesn't. I don't believe you need to. I don't feel like there was anything.
Well, see, I was like that when I first saw Stone Ocean. Oh, they're gonna have to write Jojo out of this somehow. And going back and watching Golden Wind, it was I kind of thought it was hilarious that it was the same strategy really in both of those shows to like write Jojo out. I think Stone Ocean actually did it smarter. There was like at the end of Golden Wind, he's literally just like round the corner, and it's like he can't hear the explosions and all this. I was like, what? So like
Golden Wind? Do you mean Diamond is Unbreakable?
No, sorry, I mean Diamond is Unbreakable.
Right,
yeah. Sorry, I'm talking crap. Aye. So in Diamond is Unbreakable, Jojo's literally like round the corner while they're fighting. And it's like he doesn't hear the explosions and all this, and I thought that was really dumb. I thought that was a dumb way to write him out. Is like
which Jojo would you mean?
Jotaro Kujo.
Or Jotaro, right? Okay.
Aye. And I feel they reduced his stand as well. They weakened his stand a wee bit. Like when they're fighting the rat.
Aye, yeah. It's because it's the Wolverine. Well, not Wolverine necessarily, but it's the.
I can't get up there.
It's the problem with powerful characters that become part of a team almost. So like Wolverine, when he's by himself, is like an absolute ass kicker, but then when he's part of the X-Men, he always is like he always gets pure nerfed, and it gets kind of annoying.
Aye.
And so it's kind of the same thing. They were like, when they need Jotaro to be like the strongest stand ever, or Star Platinum to be the strongest stand ever, it can freeze time and all that. But then they also realise like, shit, we made him too good. How do we? Oh, a rat jumps him, but it's he hit him from behind. It's kind of like pro wrestling booking, like they jumped him from behind with a steel chair.
Well,
in a fair fight, he'd had him type of thing.
As well, they're sort of making out like, Jotaro's doing it to,
It almost like bring Josuke along and sort of teach him.
Exactly, yeah. And I kind of like that. I like the element that he's taking the hit because he's like, you can just heal me, but it's really about the learning experience,
Sure.
Exactly.
You get done, Jotaro. If you jump on that, if you jump on it.
It's like if he wasn't there, he'd be dead. He'd be just straight up dead.
Yeah, man, fuck.
Killed by a rat.
Since when was it 5 seconds you can freeze time with?
Exactly.
For Star Platinum, because wasn't it like less than 1, but like during the fight with Dio, I think it goes up to like 1 full second. Or maybe it's 2 full seconds. Maybe it was 5 seconds and I'm just remembering it wrong, but that definitely seemed longer than I recalled it.
It seemed more powerful. We seemed it could cover more distance as well.
Which, to be fair, I mean, it's years later, so I'm not saying against it, but like Jojo's like they explain crap like that, So he could have just been like, after years of practice, now I can stop time for 5 seconds or whatever. You know, the new Zelda as well. Matthew Mercer, who voices Jotaro, is going to voice Ganondorf.
Oh,
because Ganondorf's in it, because my friend Ryan, who's a Walloper, I haven't seen trailers or deck about the game because I don't want to know anything, and he just like shared that with me. Like,
I think you can bring that ladder down somehow, but I don't know.
Well, you know Matthew Mercer's voicing Ganondorf.
Actually, I know what it is.
So Ganondorf's in the new game, right?
There's a switch. There's a switch just there. If you pull that switch, that'll bring the stairs down. Never know.
Right. There we go. Told you. So Jotaro's voicing freaking Ganondorf now.
Good grief.
Yeah.
But it's I did like. I'd probably say I preferred Stone Ocean over Diamond is Unbreakable. I will watch.
Oh, that's a surprise for me.
Really?
Yeah, I preferred. I really like both, but I preferred Diamond is Unbreakable.
And it's maybe just because of the order I saw them. The reason I preferred Stone Ocean is I didn't like the ending, but everything up to the journey was, I thought, fantastic. I liked the fixed setting of the jail. Jolene is basically just a stand-in for Jotaro, who I think has always been the best character, which is why he continues making appearances. I love Jotaro.
Like I said, he's cool, but I'm just sort of... He's cool.
I like Joestar as well.
Joseph's still my favourite.
But he's not my favourite, just because he gets old, and they do him dirty in Diamond is Unbreakable. And so even before I'd seen that, I knew that he had Josuke illegitimately.
There's some fun fan theories that he might not be his kid, which I think I maybe subscribe to, honestly. Do you remember Whole Horse or whatever? Whole Horse? What was he called? You know the guy who stand in what do you call it? Stardust Crusaders is just a gun. He shoots Avdol.
Yeah.
There's like rumours and speculation that he could be Joseph's son because he's blonde, and there's a bunch of other. Apparently, Ho-Ho in Spanish or whatever would sound like Jojo. You pronounce it like a J. And if you think about it, Giorno is G-I-O. So it's like Jojo. So even some of the Jojos, they're still Jojos, but it's like there's a bit of a spin on it.
They're tenuous, aye.
There's more to it than that, because he looks just like Jotaro's other kid, whose name I'm always forgetting. And also he's kind of, is he not quite casually racist about Japanese people, Joseph? I'm sure he is. So like, why would he want to hook up with some Japanese lady? Like, there's some fan theories that are pretty interesting. But
I will say, actually thinking about it, that Rohan Kishibe is probably my favourite character.
He's so his is such a like cool stand idea that you can open up and like write in. Yeah, it's such a cool idea.
And I watched the spin-off on Netflix. The Thus Spoke Kishibe Rohan.
Aye.
And I don't know why they put it backwards, but whatever.
It's because in Japan, that's how they address people. You put their family name first.
No, fair enough.
Yeah, so that's just how they speak.
Rohan Sensei. Guy, I thought he was brilliant. He's just so stuck up and arrogant. But he's kind of like Jotaro as well. He saves the day, just by how OP his stand is.
Yeah.
Now basically, I'm just gonna write in you, and you can't tell your friends that you're in trouble.
It's like he could, under the right circumstances, he could be anyone ever. Just you can't hurt me, and then because isn't that what he does to Josuke at first?
He does it to the other two, but Josuke's so blinded with rage because he mocks his hair.
Oh, that's
that
right.
He doesn't he doesn't see the drawing he's done. So even though he shows him it, he's so blinded with rage, it's like so stupid that he can't discern it. So he doesn't get the chance to turn him into a book and write thou shalt not hurt Rohan Kishibe.
Sure, why not?
Exactly. It's just like, okay.
There's a bunch of like speculation as well about what do you call it? Like the Josuke thing. Like he does his hair like that and everything because that guy that saved them from the snow. he saved the like he had a fever, and yeah, people are saying like, oh, because like time travel comes out a little bit towards the end. They're like, oh, originally he must have been like sent back and like and then saved himself, but nah, like, it was just
some guy.
It's just some guy.
wait, I hate. Yeah,
and Josuke thought he had cool hair, and that's kind of. But I don't know. I kind of every once in a while I like stuff like that because it just.
It's why it's a bizarre adventure, isn't it?
Just cause
there's some weird shit.
You can't do it with absolutely everything because then your story just gets a bit loose and you're like, well, who cares? You don't really. If you're not paying attention, why should I? But once in a while, a little swerve like that can be kind of fun, I think.
I like the complement of powers. The powers and the stands is obviously where Jojo's got really good. Because with Hamon, like, there was only so much you could do with it.
It was.
It's just such a wild show now. Like, and I do like Diamond is Unbreakable because there's different ways they utilise, like, Josuke's power. Like the healing ability.
Yeah, and he can put them back together sort of wrong because they do that to that like murderer, do they not?
Yeah, exactly.
They put them back together as like a rock. So yeah, it's stuff like that super cool.
Well, how he wins in the end as well is, you know, he's like flicking the whatever it is, the bits of broken vase out the window, and they like almost like boomerang heal effect or something.
Yeah, they like sort of shoot back.
Yeah, you know that was awesome. And that's it. That's Lego Batman.
And the little invisible baby, like that plot that just goes nowhere.
Yeah, they never find the mother.
It doesn't. It's like
they never find the mother.
There's a resolution to the story insofar as alright, well Joseph's gonna look after him. Okay, cool, but like what? Why was there just a baby that was invisible?
Why does his mother never claim it?
Just came out of nowhere. Like you never know. Maybe that'll show up at some point. But